Ready, Rock?
What have you learned since the last time we talked to you about being a first-time head coach, which would have been Combine, I guess?
Yeah.
And putting together the program that you're about to get into?
Yeah, no, it's still a lot of meetings, right? You know, with the guys not being there, but it's a lot of productivity with regards to talking with sports science, getting with strength coaches, our medical staff, trying to put together a schedule. I'm not sure the last time if I brought it up, but I thought it made most sense to kind of start with the end in mind. Like, let's start with end of season practice schedule, and let's work all the way to training camp, to OTAs, and work back so that there's a flow, there's a routine with it, but we know what we're training for, and so we're trying to callous our guys and condition them in a sense that they're ready to go. So a lot of productive meetings, a lot of research, a lot of talking with a lot of outside, just seeing if there's different ways for us to kind of go through it, and I'm excited for us to shoot next Tuesday. It kind of gets rolling.
When you've met with draft prospects, are there personality traits? Is there anything in particular you want to try to find when you're talking to these guys? Because you can watch the tape. The tape tells you if they're a good player, but how do you want to make sure that they're going to fit in your locker room?
I think everybody's a little different, right? It's you know the type of player that they are, and then you're trying to understand, all right, this is the position that they play. Let me look at some of the traits that kind of comes together with their style of play. You know, some of it could be, look, this guy's an outstanding player, but like, is he smart enough? And I'm going to dive into put him in different positions, see if he can digest it all and be able to respond. Some it's just like, I want to just see if the guy has love for the game of football, right? You know, or it's like, hey man, he's going to be playing next to this person. He needs to have this type of trait. So there's a lot of different ways we kind of go about it. At the end of the day, you got to love football. If you don't love football, there is guys that have made the Hall of Fame without loving it and just being really talented, but it's few and far between.
You started out as a linebackers coach. For that position, what do you think you need an inside linebacker in Jim's defense? Yeah, well, again, it's I don't think there's any one, like, this is the only way you can play linebacker nowadays, right? It's the offensive minds are doing too good of a job of trying to get your linebackers in matchups, right? So you know, gone are the days where it's just a linebacker that is strictly a downhill run stopper, because depending on the coverage that you'll play, you know, they'll get in matchups, right? So you got to have that versatility, to that athleticism to be able to do both, but we got to be able to stop the run, right? You know, that's our main focus with everything we're doing, is if we stop the run, we'll get Josh Allen the ball a couple more times. And so you got to find that happy medium of, you can't be too small where you can't fit the run, but you also can't be too stiff that you can't cover in the pass game. Hard to find.
Are you looking to get some guys that are a little nastier? I think some people look at the CJ signing and his mentality and the way he plays, and maybe a shift of wanting more of that sort of an edge on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Again, I can only really speak for the offense that pass. I wouldn't say that the Buffalo Bills in general haven't had an edge, but there is a personality. There's certain personalities that I was looking for. That you know, you got to find a happy medium, right? You want some guys on your team that are, you know, call it you know, they check all the boxes, right? You don't worry about it. You want some guys that are gonna stir the locker room a little bit, or gonna you know, we go out to practice and it doesn't matter what it's going to look like, how late it is in the season, they're going to go, and you need those type of guys. And so and I feel comfortable as a head coach knowing that I can kind of talk to those guys and relate it. But yeah, if I told Beam when we went through this process, like, let's not take anyone out of an evaluation just because of their background. Let's talk through it. Let's figure out what their issues might be, and a guy like Chauncey has the edge that I think will be great for us.
The only true maybe starting job in the offense is going to have a competition is left guard. How have you kind of worked through with your coaching staff how you want to process and determine what is best for you guys? Yeah, look, I think it's unique, right? We've been very fortunate with the continuity that we've had, right? And I'm not naive to know that, but part of it is a progression of, look, we had David Edwards was our jumbo a couple years ago, and then he moved into that guard role and had a lot of success, right? Alec has been our jumbo and has showed that he can play at the level. So the perk that we have is going into the draft right now, we feel like we have we have 5 guys that can start and play winning football. And
we're always going to drive competition. Like, I know you say only Alec, but there's other spots out there that that there's starting spots up for grabs, and so. But there is an element that we're looking for in the left guard, the type of skill set that we're looking for, both playing next to Dion, playing in between Connor. David was a huge player for us. We're not looking to just replace David Edwards with someone with the exact same skill set of David Edwards, right? And so we'll figure that out. We'll go through it, but that's where I'm excited when the draft comes through.
And you have a history with Lloyd, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, Lloyd. Look, I mean, Lloyd's a starting center in the NFL, and you go through all this. You go through the process going into the draft or going in free agency. There was a chance we lost both Connor and David, right? Like it was keeping me up at nights. With some of those thoughts. And Lloyd was a guy, I know he's coming off of an injury, but Lloyd was a possibility of being our starter, or just a guy that we would think about as a starter. And so having a guy like Lloyd that has a lot of stripes in the league, has played a lot, and now he's in a role that could potentially be your swing, being a backup. You never want anything to happen but to your starter, but having a guy that's done that with the experience, I think that's valuable for us.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Go try.
First-year play callers this year, including Izzik and Carolina. I wondered if that first year for you calling plays at the NFL, like what were some of the challenges that you faced that were a little different than coming from college?
Yeah, I think every year there's going to be challenges, right? I don't think there's any set. I think it's about being as prepared as you can be with what you have, not feeling like you have to recreate a certain offense that you've been a part of. In Carolina, I think I hung on the bad plays a little too long, both in game and after a game, right? And so I think there isn't no perfect game you're going to call, and I think Brad's a stud. Brad's going to do a great job of he's been with Dave. He knows the system, knows how they want to do things, has a different voice. He'll be comfortable not being Dave, and he's going to do a hell of a job.
I think you also had the challenge, if I'm not mistaken, of COVID, right? Yeah. What was that like, implementing the system?
Yeah, it was fun. Got DJ Moore back, right? It was fun. The first time I met DJ Moore was over a screen and teaching him the whole offense over a screen. So not the best, but it helped. Look, it helped us how we teach, how we can relate to guys, how we can talk. Not the easiest, but it is what it is. The whole league had to do it. But no, Brad's going to be a stud there, and I'm excited for his opportunity.
Speaking of DJ, why could he be successful in this offense?
Yeah, I think I am fortunate that I know DJ, but DJ has a unique skill set. He can play inside, he can play outside, right? He can run block. He makes dynamic plays down the field. You can get the ball in his hands. He's a little bit like a running back. He can do so many different things. And knock on wood, he plays, he practices, he's out there every day, he's playing every game, and he is playing, and he's not coming off the field. And that's unique at the wide receiver position. And it's been a while since I've been coaching him, and I've been wanting to coach him for the last few years. And so having that opportunity to kind of do it again excites me.
You said that you don't know until you do it, calling plays and being a head coach. But some time has passed since you got the job.
Yep.
Is there anything you've been able to do to help figure it out or talk to people? Or is there any way that you've evolved even without having gotten to those games, if you evolved into doing that?
Yeah, I mean, look, you go to the combine, right, and it's draft. Like I'm figuring out these annual meetings, right, but one of the perks is that you get to be around a lot of these head coaches that have sat in this position, have been a first-time head coach, coming from a play caller, and just picking their brains on, hey, was there some things that was beneficial to you? What are some things that you thought was going to be good for you, and then you realize that's a waste of time? And then but the biggest thing for me is just like analytics, right? You take in all the information and figure out what's going to be best for me, what we think. But the biggest thing for me is just making sure that I'm myself through it all. Like, if I try to be Sean McVay, if I try to be, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen of last year, if I try to be Sean Payton, it's not going to work out, right? And so that's been the advice a lot of people have kind of been rolling with. And but again, until you start rolling with it, it's going to be you're not going to know.
It's a fraternity, but you're also competitors.
No doubt.
Do you take it with a grain of salt, or do you ever wonder in the back of your mind, like, is this guy being honest with me, or is he telling me, is he maybe effing with me?
No, I mean, look, I think in anytime in this profession, there's always you can always think about like, hey, what's the root of it? But I think at large at this time of the year, right? Yes, we are competitors. Yes, we are. But there is a fraternity of coaching, right? And just like it is players, when you draft a player on your team. If we were to draft a guard, it's going to elevate Alec Anderson's role. If we were to draft a running back, it's going to elevate James Cook. So to me, from coach's perspective, I do think there's an element of helping other coaches is only going to elevate you as well, because it's like, man, I have to continue to grow. I have to continue to be proactive in my own development, because if we're just the same year in and year out, we're not going to get better. So there's always that in the back of your mind, but you try to be open-minded with, hey, I'm not just taking everything they say and just doing it. I'm taking it, I'm processing, and kind of rolling with it.
Joe, this time last year, the push was under a lot of scrutiny. It was close to getting banned. Why do you think that scrutiny is kind of lessened and there hasn't been a renewed attempt to ban it this year?
That's a great question. I don't know. It was interesting last year, right? Because we came away from this meetings and it was like, are we going to do the tush push, right? Like, and the reality of it is, outside of probably is us and Jalen, right? With Philly, not a lot of teams do it. But it was a productive play for us. I got to be mindful of how many times I'm doing it with Josh. You're doing the research of, you watch some teams do it with their tight ends, and is that another element that we can continue to grow in? But sometimes I'm surprised that when a rule comes and it doesn't, do they make it to the next year, or they're, as I'm learning in the league, is it just where, hey, we went all in, it didn't go, and we're going to keep it moving. But the success that we had with it, I was fortunate that it was a part of our offense last year.
What was that process? I know some people voted against it, but what was that process like, deciding, hey, like let's continue to run it even though we voted against it?
Yeah, look, as the offense coordinator, right? If Coach McDermott was like, hey, look, I don't want us doing it, we wouldn't. It was, and to his credit, it was one of those is like, hey, yes, I might be against it, but once there's a lot of rules that sometimes as coaches, as personnel, we might not vote for. But if it's a part of once the rule is, hey, this is what it is, we want to make sure as an offense, defense, special teams, as a team, that we're doing whatever we're capable of, not, And look, we were fortunate that no injuries came from it, from our perspective. But once it got to that point, he was like, if the rule's in and you feel like it's the best interest to help us win, he was for it.
Hey Joe, you guys averaged a touchdown more per game when Dalton was on the field for you. How comfortable are you with the plan that you're going to be able to increase his availability for games?
That's been it's you can't really predict the future with regards to the medical element of it, but man, you guys saw you saw him in the playoffs, right? And he's a difference maker, and you get him in matchups, both safeties, linebackers. You feel like it's in the critical moments, Josh looking his way, but you want him out there, and so he's been a lot of communication with him this offseason. Look, he did everything he had to do last offseason too. Like it wasn't one of those things where he was injured, took off the offseason, and then showed up and was like, hey, I'm still injured. It was like, no, he lived in the weight room last year, lived in it all, got stronger. I think it was just something he was just having to figure out how to play with. He is as tough as can be. Like there's a lot of things that he is pushing through that you guys might not see. But I think some of it is just learning how to play with certain elements of some movements that it might not feel great, and he's had to push through that. But when he's out there, we're better. That's undeniable. And getting a plan with our strength staff, with our science, performance team, of figuring out what that looks like week to week. Like how much does he have to practice so that he's ready to go? What do we have to do with his movements? Because I'm understanding how important he is, right? And I do believe practice is important, but I also don't want a guy where he does so much in practice that he can't be the same person in the game. And so figuring out the ebbs and flows of it. But look, he's dynamic, and we're better when he's on the field. I'm glad we picked up his option, so I got him for a couple years.
How can DJ Moore's arrival help you maybe unleash Khalil Shakir a little bit more? Use him maybe differently and get him in different situations.
Yeah. I think, as you know, right, Khalil's been a focal point of our offense, right? And having a guy like DJ, that it's going to help both of them, right? When you talk about Dalton Kincaid, you have Khalil Shakir, you have DJ, and so it's they can't just focus on one particular person, and it gives us another layer of somebody on the outside, right? Khalil and Dalton have attacked a lot of the middle of the field, a lot of the inside zones. Giving a guy like DJ on the outside that you can kind of work, okay, where's the rotation going to be? How are they going to handle it? That's where it was important to get a skill set like DJ, a guy that can stretch, that can win the one-on-ones, can get the ball in his hands, win on a slant route. There's nothing better as a coach than we only have to throw the ball 2 yards and they go 80, and it makes us look really good. and a guy like DJ does that just like Khalil. So I hope that'll free up Josh. I hope it'll free up our run game. So all of those things, but Khalil will be a huge benefit to it because a lot of it, everyone knows, Khalil's been our go-to guy.
Would you prefer to?
Beyond the
sorry,
schematic, with a guy like DJ Moore, for a first-time coach, what's it do for you having a known commodity to you there, who helps know or knows what you expect?
Yeah, look, I mean, the reality, I also haven't coached DJ in 4 years, right? 4 or 5 years, whatever that is. But so that's what it was important for me when I turned on the tape is, what was I seeing? Was I seeing the DJ that I remember in my mind? Was, what does that look like? And but I didn't see a drop off in play. Like I do think it was look, Ben Johnson's an outstanding coach, right? But they also ran the football. They shared the targets. So I didn't see a drop off in who he is. And knowing his skill set is important for me in terms of building the offense this offseason. But it's more important for Josh to get the chemistry and connection working with him. Like this offseason, this is a passing camp, right? Like we don't have pads. I don't want our offense and defensive line are going to get after it, and I'm learning as a head coach now I get fined if they do too much with it. So it's such a critical time for receivers and a quarterback to get the chemistry. And so I might know DJ, but until Josh knows DJ and how he speaks to him, and that's when it takes off.
Would you prefer to not
Right
have
back to
Khalil return punts? If you know what I mean, and have him just be an offensive guy and maybe have a more dedicated punter returner? What's your philosophy on the roster usage of that?
Yeah, well, it's unique, right? The dynamic kickoff rule kind of changed some of the not the importance of special teams, but like, hey, let's go through and rank like what are the most important ones, right? Like, punt is always important, right? But we also punt less than a lot of teams, right? The field position, your kickoff return, the punt return, like how important is that it flips games, right? If we can get an opportunity with a punt return and we get 8 yards on a punt return, how that can flip a field where we're almost in 4-down territory. And Khalil, as we know, is one of our best football players. Just like Josh Allen, when you're back there and Josh takes a hit or he runs and he doesn't slide, I'm getting the plays in a little late because I'm making sure he gets up. So I feel a little times with Khalil. I'd love for Khalil not to be back there, but Khalil is a team player and whatever he has to do. That's part of the competition that, going into camp that I'm excited about through this draft process, just getting as many guys as we can at those positions to be able to do that, but also not only be on the team as a returner, right? And that's important.
I'm sorry, so I stepped on your question.
Yeah, let me finish that real quick.
Yeah,
that's where it's important. Like as we build this roster, as many multiple position players, the better, right? When we're building, that's why when we did the go through the 48-man roster with Bean, there's always going to be some guys that, hey man, this is their skill set, this is what they do a really good job and they're really good at it. But when you're putting together the roster, there might be guys that they're a better football player, but they're down. You're like, why is that guy not getting a jersey? Well, that guy also plays on 3 special teams units, and so you're having to mix and match. And so that's where last year we had B Cod that was up for as a returner. If you're going to do that, you better be really dynamic. And so that's stuff that through the evaluation as we're going to go. Khalil's still going to be rolling with it, but ideal world for me is we'd find someone that can allow Khalil to run out there on first down and not just be out there on fourth.
The round table firing squad isn't the most conducive.
I'm learning it all.
You mentioned about Josh and the physical aspect of it. Has your that won't be.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, see, that's why you don't wear suits.
It's better if I was wearing shorts right now, that'd burn a little bit.
Right up. Is there, has your opinion on that or your view changed, do you think, of the idea of Josh as a runner or Josh as a physical runner as an offensive coordinator versus a head coach? And I know I'm kind of asking in a tongue-in-cheek,
no, that's
but
real.
There's maybe a different approach.
Yeah, look, even as his quarterback coach, like, I never wanted Josh to get hit, right? Like my goal as the QB coach, as the OC is now the head coach, is like I want Josh Allen to play as long as Josh Allen physically can play, right? Like the game of football is better off with Josh Allen playing, and the guys that I grew up watching, like these guys were playing 18, Brady, Breeze, these guys were playing 20 years, right? And so that's what you hope for a guy like Josh. And there's going to come a time in his career where he's going to have to, his legs aren't going to be able to do what he can do, and he's going to have to become a true pocket passer. We're not there yet, right? But so I have to be mindful of that when I'm calling plays. We know in the pass game, Josh is going to scramble. So you got to count those scrambles, knowing that there's going to be some of the runs. And so tell me the time in the game, the importance of it, where we are in the season, That's when I think some of just the true design runs come into play. But if I ask him, he'll be like, hey, run me 40 times, throw it 40 times. I really don't care. I just would like him. Now we got a grass field. I hope he slides a little more.
Are you more
As you went
responsible?
through the process of becoming a first-time head coach, and you worked on putting your coaching staff together, is there anything you learned about that process that maybe you didn't expect as you went up through the ranks and maybe talked to other coaches about who you might want to have on their staff or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is like, you get the job, right, and you want to just focus on like, look, this is my vision, this is the mentality, this is everything we're going to do. But the important thing is hiring the staff and get people that are really going to drive that, right? Like, I can drive it, I can be up here saying it, but if you guys are my coaching staff and you guys really don't believe it, or you don't have the personality, the teaching skills, the communication skills, like, I can only do so much. And so it was really important, as I was putting together the staff, trying to get a feel of their personalities, and then not really just hiring a bunch of guys that I've known or have been in the same systems that I've been a part of. Like, outside of Pete Carmichael, I had not known Bo Hardegree prior to. Like, we have to grow our offense, we had to grow our special teams, our defense. So it was important for us to hire from outside, just to get different personalities, different skill sets. And I wanted to make sure I did it like one step at a time. Like, a lot of people have kind of told me, like, just be quick, but don't be in a hurry. So it was like, all right, I know now I have this tight ends coach, this is his personality. I have this running back coach, this is his personality. I need some of this, and whatever that is, in this room, and kind of that's what I was looking for. And so I loved look, at the end of the day, right, we got to win football games, I'm understanding, but as a whole, like, seeing how they're working together and me just observing, man, I'm so excited for the people that we brought in.
Is it a different situation where, I mean, it's a unique one for you where, like you mentioned, you've been around people, and not to just keep the same group as opposed to reaching out? Was that something you maybe didn't expect because you didn't know what situation you'd be in as a first-time head coach? Yeah,
well, I mean, one, it was a unique perspective for me because, like, I didn't have a job either, right? Like, I'm out doing some head coaching interviews, but I'm also like, all right, I also might need to try to get an OC job. So you're trying to put together a bunch of in your head, a bunch of staffs, knowing that, hey, if you're in Buffalo, these are some of the guys that you can have, but if I'm not in Buffalo, I might not be able to get some of these guys. So you always have to have a bunch of names on your list, but to me, it was like, hey, how can I get Pete Carmichael on board? I can get my offensive coordinator, and the rest will take care of itself. And I know that's a little flip, but from everybody told me it was like, just focus on the defense. I focused on offense, and that was hard, right? We've had a lot of success on offense, like you said, and I didn't hire from within. But that was part of the growth that I felt like we needed as an offense, was to not just say, hey, this is our playbook. We had success. Let's just move it over and let's just open now. Like, it's a new year. It's a new process. Let's start over from the basics, and so that we're continuing to do that.
Joe, about that 2024 season that allowed David Edwards to go from reserve to starter and then kind of take off from there.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dave's always been a starter. We were not fortunate but the only reason we were able to get Dave where we got Dave is because Dave had an injury history, right? And there was a relationship with our offensive line coach. And what we were able to do, a lot of this has nothing to do with me, but a lot of the direction that the league has gone, I think, with a lot of the jumbos, the sixth offensive lineman, is because of what Dave was able to do and into Alec. Dave is as bright as they come, plays with great length, great technique. If you were to build an offensive lineman, you wouldn't build Dave, but Dave knows exactly who he is, how he does things. He's a technician, and it's allowed him to be able to play the jumbo role, go inside. He can play all positions. If something had to happen and we need to play tackle, he'd be like, I probably can't do it, but I know I'll find a way. And so I'm going to miss Dave Edwards.
He said that like in 23, I know you weren't there.
Yeah.
He took over as coordinator, but that was like a really good year for him of just kind of taking a reset and stuff. Like, did you notice anything in him kind of change from 23 to 24, how he approached the game? Yeah, I think when guys are injured, right, you take football away from guys, it starts to mean a little more to them, right? And I got, like, for instance, we brought in Austin Corby, we brought in Laurie Cushman, we brought in some guys that football has been taken away from a little bit with their injuries. Their importance, that once they get back out there, how they feel, like seeing Dave Edwards go from not being able to play, right, and now I'm out there and I'm back with the guys, I'm feeling a part of it. That was huge for him. And so I think sometimes you go into the free agency, and as long as they're guys of high character, but there is something to guys that, they just want to get out there again and what they're going to bring to it. And a guy like Dave took full advantage of, he was a leader without being a starter. And that's really hard. And he understood. He came in right away, tried to get a feel of the room, and just him being himself, his work ethic, everybody kind of took it and ran with it. And he's going to do great things down in New Orleans.
Thank you.
When players come back next week, what do you want your message to be to them?
I can't tell you guys that. There'll probably be some cursing. I'm not going to lie. No, honestly, part of the process right now is just making sure I'm not loading them with everything day one, right? Like you guys all remember the first week of college, right? Like you were so excited. I don't know about college, but high school, right? You were so excited for that first week of school again, right? And then you showed up to that first class. Then you're halfway through that first class. You're like, why the hell did I want to get back to school, right? And so you're not used to it. Just like these guys, they're working out, they're golfing, they're doing all their stuff, and now they're gonna sit in all these meetings for a day. They're gonna be like, what the hell was that? What am I doing? So I got to be pretty intentional and mindful of, like when I was the OC, I never did a meeting day one. I was always like, let me do my first unit meeting day two, where the guys have kind of got together, they did all the things, they heard the team meeting the next day, let's get with the OC the next day two when they've kind of got a gathering of it all. So I know that sounds, I didn't answer your question, but I'm trying to be mindful of like the message I want to give day one without it being where, what the heck, did he just give us too much information, but also spreading it out where they understand what's important from the jump. And so I'm excited for it, but I have to make sure that I'm not too excited, because I also got to meet them with where they're at too.
Do you expect Josh to be there with what he's got going on with his family and everything?
Yeah, Josh sets the tone with everything that we do, and like any off season, right? There's certain times of the season, like it is voluntary, right? Like when you're Josh Allen, you got marketing, you got stuff. Now you got family. Like I'm understanding of guys might not be able to be there every single day at every moment, but what I know is if Josh can, he will, and I'm not sitting in this chair without Josh, right? And we're in this together, and we got to hold each other accountable. And so I know how important that is for him to be, especially day one. He's going to be sitting in that chair, hoping that everybody else will as well.
I just want to follow up on that question from before about the physical part of it.
Yep.
And you were talking about the difference as a coordinator. Is there a more of a responsibility as the head coach?
Yeah.
For that aspect of it, of preservation that you maybe didn't have as an offensive coordinator? Like you're just trying to win this series, win this conversion. Does it matter as a head coach?
Yeah.
How you think of it?
No, I never called a game or never game played with the mindset that was like, yeah, this might take a couple years off of Josh's career, but I won't be here. Look, I love that guy. I want Josh Allen to, I've said this 100 times, and you're going to hear me another 100 times saying it. I want Josh Allen to get everything he deserves in his life, in this career. Like, he puts so much into this game, and that all I want is for him to be holding what he deserves. And I know that it's not a result-oriented with everything, but, like, I don't want to be there. I just want to see him to be able to do it. And so whatever that's going to do, whatever, I have to take care of him so that he can do those things, right? Because I know there's some elements where when he gets out there, like I said, he had 1 foot and he's out there jumping, hurdling. The year that he couldn't throw with his elbow, he's like, we were like, he played against Minnesota, and we were like, whatever you can, you just can't take a hit. First drive, he's in open field and he tries running the guy over, right? Like, that's how his mind works. So the more that, sometimes you tell a guy he can't do something, he's gonna be like, oh, you think I can't do it, right? And that's what makes him him. So I'm always gonna try to protect him. I know we don't get where we need to without Josh Allen, right? And so, but I'm not thinking about, I'm not thinking differently than I was as an OC.
Joe, when a division rival makes the Super Bowl, does that change how you guys approach the offseason? Does that amp the stakes up a little bit? How do you guys do that?
I mean, yeah, you don't look. I don't enjoy watching the Super Bowl. It didn't matter who was in it. I don't watch the Super Bowls, especially when the way it ends, like we've been a part of. Like it's part of it, right? But look, Vrabel did an incredible job, rebuilding that last year, and they were. Look, they deserved everything that they got, and it doesn't. I don't mean this in a negative way. It doesn't motivate you anymore. It just that look, like this isn't a. It's for our guys to understand, like, you can't just wake up and you're just going to go win the division, right? And I'm not saying our guys had that mindset, but like, it's the NFL. Like, a team can come in last place one year and then can come in first place the next one. Like, we got to wake up and have the competitive stamina to be able to work every single day without worrying about what a team's record is or whatnot. And so I hope that our guys don't necessarily care who was in the Super Bowl, but know that, hey, the team that is in our division, that they wore the T-shirts last year, they were in the Super Bowl, and we got to do everything we can, regardless of who that is, that's us in those positions.
Did you really not watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like live? What do you do? I mean, the entire world watching the Super Bowl that night.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like a pity party or whatnot, but it's like, look, I'm pissed off. Like, I'll watch the Super Bowl when I'm a part of it, and I go back and I watch the game and I understand I'm not like that game never happened, but look,
it goes back to when I was in New Orleans. I was part of the Minneapolis Miracle. Thanks, Steph. I was a part of, the pass interference against the Rams. Thanks, Chrome. And so some of those games after that, I was like, look, man, we put so much into this profession, and I want, when I get to be a part of that game, I'll watch it when I get to be a part of it.
Joe, back to Josh. Has your relationship with him evolved or changed since you've taken this job? I realize it's been a relatively short amount of time. You probably haven't been around each other very much, but how has the relationship evolved, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the hardest thing is it's driving me crazy, him calling me coach. Like, I hate that. I'm not, like, when he got the job, right, like, a lot of people, it was blown up, right? He's in the interviews, and I think it was blown up because it was like Josh in the interviews. Even though I was in other interviews I'm literally FaceTiming or I'm talking with the quarterback. So that wasn't something out of the ordinary, but I think it was important for him just from a lot of perspectives. But like when I got the job, I remember he came into my office and he let me know straight up, like, look, I'm not the reason you got the job, right? Like you got this job and now we're in this together. Like we're, and like any head coach and quarterback, right? You're attached to the hip, and I have to be able to hold him. We both made agreements on the accountability we're going to hold each other, like what our expectations are for one another. Because I think if you don't set those standards early, and we've always had this, it wasn't like it was like, all right, here, these are some new things. But there's going to be issues that are going to come up, right? You're going to see me on the sideline pissed at him, right? You're going to see him on the sideline and like, what the hell are we doing? Like that's football, it's human nature. But we got to always be able to go back to what we said in the beginning when there was no emotion in it. And it was like, hey, we said the day that this happened, this is what we were going to do. And so as long as we hold that rope and that vision, we're gonna be good. But I am fortunate, right? I've been with them. I've seen the quarterback. I've seen the QB. I've seen as an OC perspective. So it's going to be no different. If anything, I hope that it's going to help, our dynamic and our relationship.
You mentioned how players drive culture. Even starting April 7th, how do you support them in that effort to make sure that not only do you continue kind of the culture that's been there, but building on it and improving in the ways that you want?
Yeah, I think like anytime, like I said, we're going into year 1, right, not year 10, right, and I need the guys to understand that. But you can't assume anything, right? Like I can't be like, hey man, Buffalo's had a good culture, we're good. I'm just like, no, we got to start this from ground zero, from the jump, from the start. I want the guys to all understand that this is new, and they're going to build it, right? Like you hope, I have values that I believe in, but if I'm the only one that believes in it, then there's not going to be that buy-in, right? And you hope that the guys eventually buy into and what they value is what I value, and that's when I believe the culture kind of takes care of itself. But I believe in relationships and communicating with the guys. Like I want to know what they need, right? And if we can have that openness in that conversation, then we can build it. But there'll be a lot of meetings early in the off season of figuring out where we're at. I've had a lot of phone calls throughout the time of seeing the guys, trying to meet them, like hear them out, but also we do have to grow, right? Like we can't just, it's not just, hey, last coach out, Joe Brady in and business as usual, right? So I have to continue to grow this culture, and what that looks like is going to be a product of all of us kind of coming together and figuring that out.
What's been your message to
I think I've said this, to the local like media. It's when I watch tape, I always write down coaches that stand out on tape to me. I do that with the same thing with players, right? Like I'll never forget my first year coaching. I was breaking down tape, and Harrison Smith, I was like, who's the safety? And I wrote his name down, and ever since then I've kept a list of players and coaches. And when we played, I've known Jim Leonard obviously from a player. I didn't coach. He wasn't the defense coordinator in Wisconsin in my Penn State days, but once I left to New Orleans, I'd still follow Penn State when he was the coordinator out there and know the issues that he presented. Then when we played him 2 years ago, I really got a feel of going in the playoff game. I was like, man, these DBs are coached extremely well. Like, yes, they have Patrick Surtain, but like, there's one thing to take a great player, but to have a great player play with great technique, communication, how they all played in the back end. I wrote his name down, and then kind of as we were going through the process this year, playing him again, it was like, man, like this guy, he's outstanding. I want to get on the phone with him and talk with him. And man, it was so refreshing to hear his vision, his openness, his thoughts. it's not a guy that's like, hey, you know what, this is what we did with Vance. I'm just gonna with Vance, I'm gonna do this with Vance. It was like, no, this was his vision, his idea. So it's a guy that actually spent time being proactive in his own development, building what he needs. I think he's outstanding, and he's. I think with you guys, he's probably very low key and chill, and but he's got some. You're not an undrafted safety in the league for a while without having some to you. You know what I mean? And so I'm excited for him to be able to go do his thing. And what's been really good for me, I'm sorry I'm long with the Jordan, but like I hired Pete Carmichael. That was the most important hire for me because it allowed me to like take a step back in the offensive room to be able to go sit in the defensive room. And like our job as offense coaches is to break the defense's rules. And so I'm sitting there as they're building the defensive scheme, and I'm like, oh man, this is really good for me. Or on the flip side, hey guys, like I know you're thinking that's big, but like that has no bearing to us. What about this? And so kind of building that together, and so that's been really cool for me. As opposed to if I hired somebody I didn't know on the offensive side, I'd be like, I got to go kind of sit in there. So it's been really cool, kind of seeing the defense built rules-wise from the ground up.
What's been your message to Keon?
Keon, the thing with Keon is from a football standpoint, man, his work ethic, his approach, how he's going through it. If Keon just takes care of, and I know I'm talking about his personal, but if he just takes care of himself off the field, and he just shows up, he's gonna be good to go. Like the growth that Keon's gonna have from this year to next. Like Keon is on our football team. Keon, like I've never said anything negative. I was the first to tell everybody like I want a Keon Coleman. So we're not. Keon's not going to just be pushed aside. Like he's going to continue to develop, and Drew Terrell's going to. We have a great plan of what we're going to do to be able to get him to be the receiver that we ultimately drafted to be. And we're in constant communication with him. He works, right? He reminds me a lot of the guys that was with at LSU in terms of their personality, their work ethic. It's just about now, just making sure I'm there, doing what I have to do, so that I can go out on the football field and do my thing.
Speaking of Keon, do you think beyond the football side that there's a space to delve a little bit more into what is his structure when he's away from the building, in terms of finding if there's a path to put a little input into what you feel like that should look like, and just to identify if he needs more help in that area?
Yeah. I think the reality of it is like we can't just coach the players. We have to coach the person, right? And it's important that and that's part of the meetings that I've had as a head coach right now is making sure that. As the head coach, that I'm understanding the integration between our player development team, between our strength staff, between the coaches, making sure there's not just, hey, it's upstairs and a downstairs, that we're all here together, so that we all have a plan, and it's not a receiver's coach is like, hey, this is what your routine has to be, but then the player development team is like, no, this is what and then the kid's like, I got no clue what I'm supposed to do. I'm not saying that was the case, but the biggest thing is when we come up with a plan that we're all doing it together, and it's a clear understanding of like, all right, this is what time we're going to wake up, this is what time we're going to do this is what time we're going to watch. No different than most of the other players, but we can't take it for granted, right? And Keon's not the only person that's going to have a plan, right? There's going to be a lot of people, but it's making sure that he's not hearing it from two different people or people working in silos.
I know the draft still to come, so the room could look different, but you guys haven't had anything much on the defensive tackle.
Yep.
Does that say something about what you have there and what you think of maybe a Deion Walker, especially at that nose spot?
Yeah, I think, we've invested in the D-line the last couple of years, right? Like you look at it, just the unfortunate reality is, some of them are getting hurt, right? But, we've drafted, Carter and Landon Jackson and Deion and TJ, like we have invested in that, right? And the unique thing, everybody talks about the 3-4 defense, right? But like, we're not just living in 3-4 on every single down, right? There's a lot of our snaps is going to have 2D tackles on the field, right? So there's a lot of different scenarios with it. I think Deion Walker was an outstanding get where we got him, right? Like, he's a guy that I'm excited to see. Like, I'm excited of the growth. A lot of growth happens from year 1 to year 2 in a lot of these guys, right? And he's a guy that brings versatility, that can play the 4-eye position, can play the nose, and seeing what that kind of looks like. And part of the, it's not an issue. It is what it is. We have some guys coming back from injuries, right? Like we get to OTAs, there's a lot of guys can't do certain things, right? And so a lot of this stuff we're going to have to sort through it come training camp ties. But the reality is, from a D-line perspective, it gets real once pads come on. And so we're always looking at finding ways to improve it. But the perk of Jim, right, is Jim's not like, hey, this is all I can do. Like, say we come out and we're like, we do not have 3 D tackles that can play, we're not going to play 3-4 defense, right? And that's not to say that we don't believe in it. That's saying that we're not just going to bang our heads on the wall if we don't have guys
that can do what we're needing them to do. And so, but I do think we have a clear vision for the guys on the inside for the draft picks. And I know a lot of times it looks like, hey, we get to this point and free agency's over. We get to this point and, but like, I mean, we got the draft. We got after the draft to kind of clear some things up. There's guys at all positions that we still have in our mind, and so our roster's not done being built, especially with competition.
Carter Close, sorry. Just Dwayne Carter, will he be full go when you get the voluntary?
Yeah, we're still sorting through all of that. It's hard for me to kind of speak on like that. I'm excited once. Look, Dwayne's been there, DC's been there every single day, kind of working through things, and so I'm understanding from a D-line perspective that you got to be mindful of these guys want to come out and do all the things, but OTAs also for them is a lot of individual work, right? So it's a fundamentals technique. So there's different levels to some of the injuries with some of the guys of how much we need them out there and doing. But DC's training, man, he's doing everything the right way. He's handling it. The perk, there's never a perk of guys getting injured, but him and Landon, like seeing their body, the growth, the size, the strength, I'm excited for that to kind of show up on the field.
Joe, you interviewed with the Raiders twice. I cover that beat. I'm just curious what you can say about what stood out to you about that experience and maybe what you learned through the interview process.
With the who? I'm sorry.
With the Raiders.
Yeah. It's look, I mean, it's Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady is he's the most impressive, right? He's the greatest of all time for a reason. But really impressed by Mr. Davis's understanding and approach of the dynamic of getting them all in there together, right? And having an opportunity to, it's not just, hey, the owner running the meeting, and I think they have it. Look, Clint's an incredible coach, right? So they have it figured out. But the facilities out there are outstanding. The dynamic, the vision that they have, with the leadership that they have is impressive. A lot of people want that job.
Joe, you said, did you never watch the Super Bowl live or just not intuitively?
No, look, I probably screwed up by even saying that, but it's more of like, look, when I'm we 2 years ago we were in the championship game. I didn't watch it. I always watch the Super Bowls, but I'll watch it on Monday. I'll watch the Exos copy, right? But no, I'm pissed off when I'm not in it, right? And so I want to be a part of it. I want to be out there calling plays in it, and so I know I'm not the only one. Maybe I'm just the only one that admits it.
Why do you hate the NFL?
Huh? Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on 18-game schedule?
Do I have thoughts on 18 game? I really don't. I usually have thoughts from the things when I know, like, hey, man, this is happening. I know that roster size, everything will kind of change, but I'm sure there's a lot more that'll come with it. But no, nothing yet.
Joe, I just want to ask you about DJ Moore. What intangibles attracted you to him that you would invest that kind of draft capital?
His intelligence, his work ethic, his ability to move around, his versatility. He's a receiver that can do so many different things, and that's so unique at that position, right? And the experience that I've had with him allows me to feel comfortable knowing that regardless of what the value, the contract, the draft capital, it's like, hey, I have a clear vision of how we're going to utilize him in this offense.
Is that something that I just want to ask, did the Bears approach you guys, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, that's probably a question for Brandon Beane. There's certain levels as a head coach that where I get kind of filled in on things, but I'm just glad he's a part of our team.
One more before Derek gets mad.
I'm in no rush. I know Derek could pull me. What time is it right now?
Football question.
Huh?
Big picture football question. The league is so cyclical. How do you stay ahead of the cycles of the offense goes spreads, the defense goes smaller, so the offense goes bigger, the defense now goes bigger, jumbo packages? How do you make sure you're staying ahead of the trends as a coach?
Yeah, Derek, I'm good. I'm in no rush right now. Yeah. Well, hold on. We'll finish.
Yep. If you want to walk, you can walk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get one. What was your question one more time?
Cyclical. The league is cyclical.
Yeah, it's cyclical.
How do you stay ahead of the trends?
Yeah, I think you have to. It's hard to, right? You're trying your best to, right? And I think part of that is making sure that you're studying throughout the league as it's going too, right? Not just waiting till the off season, right? So, man, week one we play. We have an idea what we think it's going to look like, but we kind of play, and then we're studying these other teams, right? Oh, these are some trends that are showing up. Oh, week two, these are some things that are kind of happening, in both offensively and defensively. And so it's unique. But yeah, you're trying to stay ahead of the curve. But you know, football does. What do you got for me? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's all good.
yeah.
Thank you,
Appreciate
buddy.
you.
You got it.